In Ohio, voters rejected an initiative on constitutional amendments which could have ramifications for the pro-life movement. Issue 1 would have made it more difficult to pass a constitutional amendment and would have required a 60% threshold rather than the current measure of a simple majority. The results will make it easier for a proposed abortion referendum to succeed in November's upcoming election. When Washington, the Biden administration is reacting to the Ohio vote, calling it a win for democracy and saying the people in Ohio spoke loud and clear. White House Correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen?
Tracy, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, who has been leading White House efforts to expand and promote abortion access, both issued statements after the voters in Ohio made their decision.
As he continues his trip in the western United States, President Joe Biden releases a one-paragraph statement writing, Ohio voters rejected an effort by Republican lawmakers and special interests to change the state's constitutional amendment process. This measure was a blatant attempt to weaken voters' voices and further erode the freedom of women to make their own health care decisions. And Vice President Kamala Harris, who has been holding roundtables on abortion access, tweeted this morning, last night democracy won. Ohioans overwhelmingly rejected an attempt by extremists and special interests to undermine the will of the people and a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. This victory makes clear when we organize, fight, and make our voices heard, we win. But SBA Pro-Life America released this statement saying in part, it is a sad day for Ohio and a warning for pro-life states across the nation. Millions of dollars and liberal dark money flooded Ohio to ensure they have a path to buy their extreme policies in a pro-life state. During this crucial election, progressives funneled in millions from outside groups to mislead the people of Ohio. Sadly, attacks on state constitutions are now the national playbook of the extreme pro-abortion left. Meanwhile, back out west in New Mexico, President Biden trying to convince inflation-weary Americans who believe the economy is in poor shape that his legislative successes are working. He says his policies of financial and tax incentives have revived U.S. manufacturing.
Our plan is working. It's working. The economy has grown since I took office. It grew faster in the last quarter than anyone expected.
The president spoke at a groundbreaking for a new wind tower manufacturing facility. And separately at the U.S. State Department.
The FBI has been accused of spying on Catholics here in the U.S. This based on a memo out of the FBI office. Congress has looked at this. Does that accusation of spying, the U.S. government, the FBI, spying on Catholics right here in the U.S., in any way undermine the State Department's ability to evaluate religious freedom globally?
I'm trying to think how I can answer that without commenting on an FBI matter, to which I should, of course, refer comment to the FBI and the Justice Department. But no, I don't think in any way, I will say it generally, I don't think in any way actions by the United States government with respect to any of these issues undermine our ability to speak out about repression overseas.
Now, tomorrow, President Biden continues his trip out west, stopping in Salt Lake City. Also tomorrow, the very latest inflation numbers come out. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.